Now we'll discuss UGB 2016 paper, and the first question is, in a sports tournament of n players, each pair of players plays exactly one match against each other. There are no draws. Prove that the players can be arranged in an order P1, P2, P3 and Pn such that Pi defeats Pi plus 1. Now what we'll do is, we'll prove this question using induction. So if we take two players, suppose A1 and A2. Now, since there are no draws, one of them is going to win. So either A1 wins over A2 or A2 wins over A1. Now in this scenario, we'll choose this as P1 and we'll choose this as P2. And in this scenario, we'll take this as P1 and we'll take this as P2. So for two players, it is possible to arrange them in a way such that P1 defeats P2. Now let us assume that let it be true for K players. So we have K players, A1, A2, A3 and AK. Now we can arrange them in such a way that Pi defeats Pi plus 1. So condition here is Pi defeats Pi plus 1. Now we'll consider the case when we have K plus 1 player. Now we already have K players which are P1, P2, P3 and Pk, and then we have this player which is AK plus 1. Now what we'll do is we'll compare this AK plus 1 with P1. If this player wins over P1, we'll write this as P0, P1, P2 and Pk. And if P1 wins over AK plus 1, we'll compare this AK plus 1 with P2. Now if AK plus 1 wins over P2, then we'll get P1 and then this player AK plus 1, P2, P3 and Pk. Now we can again renumber them P1, P2, P3, P4 and Pk plus 1. So again we can have the same configuration where any Pi defeats Pi plus 1 player. So what we'll do is we'll keep repeating this process until we get a player who defeats this AK plus 1, and then we can always reconfigure the numbers. So this is true for Pk plus 1. So from induction we can say that the players can be arranged in an order P1, P2, P3 and Pn such that Pi has beaten Pi plus 1 for all I equals to 1, 2, 3 up to n minus 1. Now here the question is, consider the polynomial ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d where ad is odd and bc is even. Now we have to prove that all roots of the polynomial cannot be rational. Now what we'll do is we'll prove this question using contradiction. We'll assume that let all the roots be rational. Now if all the roots are rational, we can factorize this cubic into three linear factors. So we can write ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d, and it'll be equal to say a1x plus b1, a2x plus b2 and a3x plus b3. Now we'll multiply them. We can write this as a1x plus b1 and here will be a2 a3 x square plus a2 b3 plus b2 a3x and plus b1 b3, and now we'll multiply this also. So we'll get a1 a2 a3 x cube plus a1 a2 b3 a1 a3 b2 plus a2 a3 b1 x square plus, now coefficient of x will be a1 b1 b3 a2 b1 b3 a3 b1 b2x and finally it will be b1 b2 and b3. This is A, that's B, this is C and this is D. Now it says that A into D is odd. So if we look at A into D, it'll be simply A1, A2, A3 and B1, B2, B3, and this number, it is an odd number. Now product of all these 6 numbers will be odd if and only if all AIs and BIs, they are odd numbers. So A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, they are all odd numbers. Now we look at BC. Now BC is A1, A2, B3, A1, A3, B2, A2, A3, B1, and here will be A1, B1, B3, A2, B1, B3, and A3, B1, and B3. Now, since all of them, they are odd numbers, so this is odd, and this is odd. In the same way, all these 3 numbers, they are also odd. Now, sum of 3 odd numbers is odd, and here also, this sum is odd. Now, odd into odd is an odd number. So this B into C, it must be an odd number. But in the question, it says BC is even, which is a contradiction. And from contradiction, we can prove that all the roots of this polynomial, they cannot be rational. Now here the question is, let Px equals x to the power n plus a1 x to the power n minus 1 plus an is a polynomial with real coefficients. If a1 square is less than a2, prove that all roots of Px cannot be real. Now we are given that Px is x to the power n plus a1 x to the power n minus 1 plus an, and suppose it has n real roots. So if it has n real roots, then its n minus 2th derivative Pn2x, it will have 2 real roots. If we differentiate it n minus 2 times, we can write this as factorial n upon 2 into x square plus factorial n minus 1 a1x plus factorial n minus 2 a2, and it is equal to 0. So this equation should have 2 real roots. Now what we'll do is we'll take factorial n minus 2 common, then we can simply write n minus 1 by 2 into x square plus n minus 1 a1x plus a2 equals to 0, and this equation should have 2 real roots. Now if this equation has 2 real roots, then the condition should be d is greater than or equal to 0. Now I will write this d, it will be n minus 1 square into a1 square minus 2n n minus 1 a2, it should be greater than or equal to 0. Now we can cancel this n minus 1. We can write n minus 1 a1 square, it will be greater than 2n a2. Now the question says a2 is greater than a1 square. So we'll put the value of a2. So from here we can write this is greater than 2n a1 square. Now n plus 1 a1 square, it cannot be greater than 2n a1 square. So we get a contradiction here. So from contradiction, we can say that this polynomial Px, it cannot have all real roots. Now question number 4 is, let ABCD be a square. Let A lie on positive x-axis and B on positive y-axis. Suppose the vertex C lies in the first quadrant and has coordinates u and v. Find the area of square in terms of u and v. So we have this square. Whose 2 sides A and B. They are on x-axis and y-axis. So this is x, this is y, this is origin, and this is say A, B, C, and D. Now suppose this point A is A comma 0 and B is 0 comma B, and it says coordinate of C u comma v. Now we need to find area of square in terms of u and v. Now what we'll do is we'll write this as Z1, Z2 and Z3, and we'll use rotation of complex numbers. So we can write Z1 minus Z2 upon Z3 minus Z2, and it'll be equal to e to the power iota pi by 2, which is simply iota. Now Z1 is u plus v iota, and then minus Z2 is p iota, and it'll be equal to Z3 minus Z2. Z3 minus Z2 will be a minus b iota into iota. So we can write u plus v minus b iota, and it'll be equal to a iota and plus b. So from here we'll get u equals v and v equals a plus b. So basically we can write a as v minus b, which is v minus u. Now ab square is a square plus b square. Now here a square is v minus u square and b square is simply u square, and this ab square is nothing but this is area of this square. So area of this square will be simply v minus u square plus u square. Now the fifth question is, prove that there exists a right angle triangle with rational sides and area D if and only if there exist real numbers x, y and z such that x square, y square, z square are in AP with common difference of D. Now suppose we have this right angle triangle with sides A, B and C with area D, which is simply AB by 2. So we have a right angle triangle whose sides are ABC, and suppose they are rational, and this area D is AB by 2. Now we need to find three rational numbers x, y and z such that x square, y square and z square, they are in AP. Now C square is A square plus B square. Now one of the method of solving this question can be, we can show that there exist three rational numbers x, y and z such that x square, y square and z square, they are in AP. And one way of selecting it can be, we can choose these numbers as a minus b by 2 square, c by 2 square and a plus b by 2 square. Now we have to prove that these three numbers, they are in AP. Now we find c square upon 4 minus a minus b whole square upon 4, it will be 1 by 4, and c square is a square plus b square, and here will be minus a square minus b square plus 2ab. Now this a square b square will cancel. We'll get this as ab by 2, which is this value d. And in the same way, a plus b square by 4 minus c square by 4 will be a square plus b square plus 2ab minus a square plus b square upon 4, which again is d. So these three numbers x square, y square and z square, they are in AP with common difference d, and they are squares of rational numbers which are a minus b by 2, c by 2 and a plus b by 2. So we have solved this question by taking an example. Now question number 6 is, suppose in a triangle ABC, ABC denote the three angles and ABC denote the three sides opposite to the corresponding angles. Now prove that if sine a minus b is equal to a upon a plus b, sine a cos b minus b upon a plus b, sine b cos a, then triangle ABC is isosceles. Now using sine rule, we can write this a as 2r sine a and b as 2r sine b. Then we can write this as sine a minus b, and it'll be sine square a cos b minus sine square b cos a upon sine a plus sine b. Now we'll write this sine a minus b as sine a cos b minus cos A sin B, and we'll cross multiply. So we can write sin square A cos B minus sin square B cos A, and L be equal to sin square A cos B minus sin A cos A sin B plus sin A sin B cos B, and minus cos A sin square B. Now sin square A cos B will cancel, and sin square B cos A will also cancel. So we'll get this as sin A cos A sin B, and L be equal to sin A sin B cos B. Now we can cancel sin A and we can also cancel sin B. So from here we'll get cos A equals cos B, that is angle A, it must be equal to angle B. That is this triangle ABC, it is an isosceles triangle. Now question number 7 is, let f be a differentiable function such that f of fx is x, where x belongs to 0 to 1, and also f0 is 1. Find the value of this integral x minus fx to the power 2016 dx. Now we are given that f0 is 1, so we'll put x as 0. We'll get f1 equals 0. So we have this condition that f0 is 1 and f1 is 0. Now let us take this integral as sum I. Now what we'll do is, we'll use substitution and we'll let x as some variable fu. Then dx will be simply f dash u into du. So we can write this integral as fu minus f of fu, and f of fu is simply u to the power 2016, and in place of dx we'll write f dash u du. Now we'll put in the limits. When x is 0, u is 1, and when x is 1, u is 0. So we can write this integral as minus integral from 0 to 1. Now fu minus u is same as u minus fu, because we have an even power here. So it will be 2016 f dash u into du. Now in definite integral, if the limits are same and if the function is same, we can change the variable. We can write this integral as minus from 0 to 1 x minus fx to the power 2016 into f dash x dx. Now we'll add these two integrals. Now we'll add them. We can write this as 2I, and this is from 0 to 1 x minus fx to the power 2016 1 minus f dash x into dx. Now we have to solve this integral. Now what we'll do is, we'll use substitution. We'll let x minus fx as some variable t, then 1 minus f dash x dx, it will be simply dt. So we can write this integral as 2I equals t to the power 2016 dt, and then we have to write limits also. So it will be 0 minus f0, and f0 is 1. So this lower limit is minus 1, and here it will be this value 1. Now we'll solve this integral. We'll get this as t to the power 2017 upon 2017, and if we'll put the limits, we'll get this as 2 upon 2017. So value of this integral will be simply 1 upon 2017, and that is the answer to this question. Now question number 8 is, let an be a sequence of real numbers satisfying an plus 1 equals 3an upon 2 plus an. Now if a1 lies between 0 and 1, we need to prove that the sequence is increasing, and if a1 is greater than 1, then the sequence is decreasing, and hence this limit is 1. Now what we'll do is, we can write this as 2 plus an upon 3, and it'll be equal to 1 upon an plus 1 upon 3an, which we can write as 1 upon an plus 1, and it'll be 2 by 3 1 upon an plus 1 by 3, and if we'll take minus 1, we can write this as 1 upon an plus 1 minus 1, and it'll be equal to 2 by 3 1 upon an minus 1. Now using this recurring relation, we can write 1 upon a2 minus 1 will be 2 by 3 times 1 upon a1 minus 1. 1 upon a3 minus 1 will be 2 by 3 times 1 upon a2 minus 1, and 1 upon a2 minus 1 is 2 by 3 times 1 upon a1 minus 1. So we'll write 2 by 3 square 1 upon a1 minus 1. So in the same way, if we keep repeating this process, we can write 1 upon an minus 1, and it'll be equal to 2 by 3 to the power n minus 1, 1 upon a1 minus 1. Now we'll take this limit n tends to infinite. Then this 2 by 3 to the power infinite will be 0. We'll get this limit n tends to infinite 1 upon an minus 1 equals to 0, and from here we can say this limit n tends to infinite an, it will be 1. So for all the values of a1, this limit will always approaches 1. So in both the cases, we have this limit n tends to infinite an equals 1. Now we need to show that depending on the value of a1, the sequence is increasing or decreasing. If a1 lies between 0 and 1, the sequence is increasing. Now when a1 lies between 0 and 1, 1 upon a1 minus 1, it is greater than 0. And if 1 upon a1 minus 1 is greater than 0, then 1 upon an minus 1 will also be greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0, then using this relation, we can write 1 upon an plus 1 minus 1, which is 2 by 3 times 1 upon an minus 1 is actually less than 1 upon an minus 1. Now here minus 1 and minus 1 will cancel. So we can write 1 upon an plus 1 is less than 1 upon an, which implies an plus 1 is greater than an. That means this sequence is increasing. Now in the second case, when a1 is greater than 1, then in that case 1 upon a1 minus 1 is less than 0, and therefore 1 upon an minus 1 will also be less than 0. Now we know that 1 upon an plus 1 minus 1, it is 2 by 3 times 1 upon an minus 1, and it will be greater than 1 upon an minus 1, since both these numbers, they are negative numbers. Now here 1 and 1 will cancel. We'll write 1 upon an plus 1, and it will be greater than 1 upon an, and from here we can say this sequence is decreasing. So this is how we can prove such question.